Fan service time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the figma number 535. It's Reisalin Stout from the video game Atelier Ryza, Ever Darkness, and the Secret Hideout, which I've never played. I've never played an Atelier Ryza game. However, I love me some fan service, and when I first saw this character, like the first Ryza game, I was like, this looks beautiful. And I love the design. It's fan service all over the place. They knew what they were doing, 100%. But still not boring. Like, there's a lot of detail in the character. There's a lot of detail also coming in this figure. So when Figma announced it, I had to pick it up, even though it has a higher price point than your regular ones. But we'll get to all of that. I don't want to make you wait any longer. Let's have a look at the figure. Couple of things to note. This is the design from the first game. There's a second one out, and I think I've heard one announced. And we don't have the jacket on yet. There will be jacket, don't worry about it, it's in the accessories, but she comes out of the box without the jacket, so I'm gonna review her without the jacket, and we'll put the jacket on later after I covered the accessories. Cool? Cool. So, size of the figure, she stands at about 14.5 centimeters to the top of the hat, but if you're going to the top of like the little ribbon in the front, it's like a little over 15. For your inches, that means we would be going up to close to 6 inches, but once again like 5.5, 5.6 if you're going to the top of the hat. That's kind of where I'm cutting off. Size comparisons. Here's Jalter. He has Sage Figure Arts Son Goku. He has Sage Figure Arts Chun-Li. Naka Michelangelo. Yun Yun. Rika, the previous queen of Thick. And Darkseid. Reisalin Stout. That's like the Japanese pronunciation. If I got that wrong, I don't care. At least I tried. So, let's get to the good stuff. I mean, I'm going to go over why I think this design is just bursting with fan service. First and foremost, you have this beautiful face, classic looking anime eyes printed on there. Look fantastic. And you got the big open mouth with the smile. I mean, that's just like charisma just oozing from this face sculpt. You got the one hairpin on the side and some diamond shapes going around the hat. The paint on here is clean for the most part, and I love the shine of the gold. It's not super shiny, but it does stand out from the rest of it. And the black line work around the hat, we do have some bleeding on that side, but those are fairly minimal issues, which I will talk about though, because this is a fairly expensive figure. And we have this nice little flower on the back. Now, first and foremost, you also have the ribbon up on the hair, which makes it look like a little bit of a bunny rabbit, you know, because bunnies are sexy. Don't take that the wrong way, alright? But that's fan service part number 1. Then we move down to fan service part number 2, which is right there. I don't really need to comment that much on it, but her boba is pretty darn huge and cradles nicely. I mean, the shirt cradles nicely around it, so again, that's completely done on purpose, and I don't have an issue with that. We have a nice golden star in her necklace. Also, the line work for the necklace is good for the most part. Kind of falls apart on the side and really falls apart on the back. And you have the blue, the baby blue on the side, and I think like these crosses are just kind of printed on there because it looks pretty clean, and I don't have an issue with that. I mean, it should look clean. A little bit of bleeding on the blue, tiny bit, and we have the straps going to the back with obviously the hole in the back. If you don't know, for Figma they all have holes because for the base, and you know, I don't want to go there yet. We will have something. We have the belt, which is somewhat floaty. I mean, it is connected in the back, so we have some alchemy stuff going on, some potions and whatnot. I feel like the plastic, like the see-through plastic, looks pretty nice on there with a little bit of gold, and there's a paint slip. Oh no! Got the buckle though, and we got the other buckle of the big belt with another diamond shape, and we got the gloves on, well, one glove on this hand, which once again has a little bit of bleeding, and we have some jewelry on the other hand with some more gold. Actually, very fine line and very good on the paint as well. But now let's move down to the other big part about the fan service. It's probably one of the most famous aspects of this figure, the face. Oh my god, it's... Okay, I'm just looking at a figure, but still, this is... I mean, if you like face, you're probably in love with this figure. You're probably in love with the character, and also with big face comes, yeah, dummy thick booty. which has some bleeding over there. But still, you got the red shorts, like hot pants, which, you know, come with the territory, come with the wide hips, and like generally speaking also, like just an hourglass shape for the figure, a very small torso. The hips are huge, but that really just elevates the shape of it. So, you know, if I'm perving about this figure, it's not my fault. It was designed to be this way, alright? Then we have the straps on the side over here. The Payne on there is also good. And whatever the hell this is, actually, we have this little thing just hanging down with another alchemy tube. It's not really called a tube. Can you take this out? Can you take this out? No, just for science. I don't think so. Don't want to break it off. And we have a pouch on her boots with it's a little bit of a clover leaf going on with the more gold. And there's also some detail, molded in detail in the boots. And finally, fan service part number, what was that? 3, 4 toes. Feet. Some people are into it, some people are not into it. I don't want to get too deep into that, but yeah, still. They have all their bases covered. You're into feet, there you go. You're into thighs, there you go. You're into big butts, there you go. You're into big titties, there you go. You're into buddy girls, there you go. You have everything covered on this design, and the figure does perform well representing it. For the articulation, it is standard figma for the most part. So the head is on a ball hinge with another ball connected to the back of the head. Moves forward, moves to the back. Not really that great, but does tilt side to side very freely and also go all the way around. For your shoulders, actually I got stuck over here, but for your shoulders, you have the big ball hinge and another ball joined in the chest area, so you can rotate it in there, shift it back and forth, and then you also have the hinge on the ball, which brings it up and down. It's kind of hard to do without the entire ball moving with it, but also rotation in there freely, no problem over that. Simple ball hinge in the elbow, and another ball hinge for the hand, moves it up and down, and rotation in there. You have nothing in the chest area. Now, that could be a point of debate. It's an articulated figure. Why is there no articulation? To preserve the fan service. How this wouldn't have looked good if you cut it up. So again, this is completely up for debate. I get the part where you say, oh, this is an articulated figure, this sucks that we don't have any articulation in the entire torso area. And I get that, but I don't really care, to be honest. So I think it looks good. And what they could have done was maybe done a swivel or a ball in there, because as you can tell, they molded the entire shirt, and then there's the body under there. So at first I thought that would move around, but it doesn't really, or does it? We have a little bit of wiggle motion there actually, but yeah, it's kind of awful. They didn't really hollow it out, and it also doesn't even swivel. So I think there's something under there. The first time I tried it out, I didn't really get anything out of it, but alas, you do have some back and forward motion, and that's about it. And I'm holding on to the pants, because it's not the pants, it's not the hips that are doing this, but yeah. Moving down to the hips, actually, you can pull this out, which completely disconnects it, but you can bring it forward quite a lot, get it into a sitting pose, and also to the back. And the belt would be able to cover it up. You can pull it down somehow and try your best to get around that, but I think the belt also is glued into the back, because I can't, actually not, is it, or is it glued on the shirt? I feel like the back part doesn't really move, so it's probably glued on the shirt. So don't rip it up, don't destroy your stuff, just be super careful if you move the belt around. But as you can tell, there's a big ball joint in there, and then there's like the wide joint just connecting the legs in there, ending on some balls. So then don't take that out of context, the balls in the pants. Anyway, leg moves forward, moves up, moves out to the side freely, and moves to the back somewhat. We have a soft butt. Also don't, well, they take that out of context. And you can also rotate the leg on here, but you do have a swivel on the juicy thighs. And then we got the knee, simple ball hinge, and for the foot is another ball hinge, goes back, forward, and also does tilt side to side. We don't have a toe hinge because that would just disrupt the sculpt, and toe hinges are useless anyway. For your accessories, you do get a lot, and I mean a freaking lot. First and foremost, you get the figma base, which is included with every figma. You have these angles to move it around, and this piece which you can take off if you want to use it or not. So let's just get that out of the way. This is standard, this is always included with every figma, and you also get the Figma back, which is like, is this glued together or whatever? Oh no, I can just take it out. It's in a little sleeve, but there you got the Figma back. You can write on it, can open it and close it like a nice ziploc. Now let's get to the real stuff. First and foremost, the faces, which I love. They have, this is like, I would say, a smug face and a little bit of an angry face. I say a little bit because he's not really that angry, but still. This one is top 10. That's one of the best. Oh, and by the way, while I'm at it, I usually forget to show this, but I really should remind myself to do that more often. Here is the joint for the face. If you wanna ask me about faces, can you swap this and that? Here you have the clear image. It's a really weird one, so I don't think this is compatible with anything. Then you got the jacket. Let's have a look at that. I obviously will put it on the figure, but here's the single piece. You just kind of have the hole in the back for the base, and obviously this is for her arms. And I mean, the paint on here is good as well. You have the gold, which the gold line does tend to go a little bit off center, but it's fine, and also a little bit of white in the back. And you have the double sleeves, obviously, for both of her arms, which have the little detail painted and molded on there. And then we got the big thing, the Celestial Seeker, from what I can tell. I looked up the names, but I'm not 100% familiar with what is what. So if I get a name wrong, do let me know down in the comments, but this is actually a great piece. This is a really cool looking staff with a lot of gold on it. Nothing on here spins, but I don't know if it's supposed to, so I'll leave the judgment of that on the side. We got a hammer, which has a little bit of paint on it. Unfortunately, I don't like how it's assembled. Like, this kind of sucks. I feel like you can take it off, but you can't. Just kind of lazy. It does have some heft to it, but you know, it's kind of like a cartoon hammer. I would say this is the bomb rod, right? Have a nice red crystal on it, which is a little bit see-through, not too much. Have some detail in there. Have some gold on the top part, and a little bit more on the lower half. It looks great. Actually, this is a cool looking piece. Got an axe. Very simple looking. Got the metallic on the axe parts, and also hefty, somewhat, a little bit. It doesn't have die cast or whatever. I just feel like this is a nice amount of plastic on there. We got a fishing rod, which doesn't have a rope on it, just a simple fishing rod. And then we have this weird little thing, which it's called a uni, from what I can tell. I'm not 100% sure, but it's just a little spiky furball. And also, almost forgot the hands. We got the fist hands. The kind of like this one has a pointy thing, and this side has a thumbs up, and these two open hands for all the weapon staffs and whatnot. A little bit bare bones. And here's the jacket mode. And while this looks great, I have one complaint. Yeah, that just ripped. And I don't even know. I don't even know. It's just one of these days, you know. It's just one of these days. Today, just like my back hurts, my shoulder hurts. I'm like, I can't catch a break today. So you know, I don't even know. Now I have to go. I really want a replacement, but now I have to go through all this tedious process of trying to get one. But anyway, here's the jacket. She looks lovely on with the jacket. Obviously, my enthusiasm is a little bit disrupted. But anyway, here's the entire mode, and yeah, it looks great. I love the sleeves with the stuff hanging down from it. But I'm sorry. Alright, that kind of sucked the energy out of me. Let me just get over the final thoughts real quick. What do I think about this figure? I love the design. I don't have any huge flaws on the paint. Everything's painted, everything looks good, everything looks to be in place. The accessories are absolutely mind-blowingly gorgeous, and you got a lot of them. You get the jacket and all the weapons and whatnot, so no complaints there. Hands a little bit basic, could have maybe used a different face sculpt. And any articulation is probably, I guess, the worst part, because you don't have any articulation in the torso, which is definitely a point for debate. Personally, I'm not too bummed about it, but again, it's an articulated figure, and especially at the price point, they coulda, shoulda maybe found a way around it, and you know, to conceal, to keep the fan service, because they did it on purpose. There's no reason for them to not just make a joint under the boobies, because they do that all the time, but they were like, nah, we're gonna keep it like that, to really keep the hourglass shape of the character and keep the fan service intact. That's what I'm thinking. That's really like, again, there's no other reason for them not to do it other than maybe pure laziness. That might also be the case, but still. So what does that mean? Is it worth, especially at the price point? This figure comes in at like, what, 11,000 Japanese yen? And yeah, it's an expensive one. It's above expensive for all the figmas. For me, it's alright. It's hard to recommend it, especially at the price point, but considering I like the figure, I like the design, and I like the tons of accessories you're getting, the option to take the jacket off and whatnot. However, of course, the cracked arm is not something that should happen with a figure at this price point, so I still do recommend it to a certain degree, of course, if you can get over the price point, because I know it's a big one, and I know it's probably not 100% validated. But I still like it, and I'm just gonna leave it at that, otherwise I'm just gonna ramble on for an hour. So that's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like, and subscribe to the channel, so you can stay tuned for figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Reisalin Stout wants.